Hello viewers and welcome back to another video on Video Geeks. So in this video we are going to talk about Playwright. So as you can see, I have opened the homepage of the Playwright, and Playwright is basically nothing but an automation testing tool, or you can also say it is a framework. Now why we have already seen a playlist on Cypress, which is also an automation testing tool or framework that you can say. So why we are saying Playwright today? So apart from the Cypress, there are certain other tools like Playwright that we can use for the testing, automation testing tools. And for those people who are part of the testing team, they might want to have a look or the options available for them to equip with the tools, such as the tool like Playwright. So why they want to choose Playwright over Cypress, that we have already seen in this Video Geeks YouTube channel. So we are going to see all about that, and in this video we are also going to cover the introduction or the installation part of the Playwright. So let's get started with today's video. So Playwright is an, as I said, automation testing tool or framework that you can say. Now unlike Cypress, this Playwright supports lots of different browsers. That is the first pros that as a software tester you might want to know. So it supports a lot of different browsers such as Chrome, Firefox, Safari, WebKit, and it also supports the mobile emulation of this Chromium and Safari browsers. It in addition to that, it also bundles so many different types of features such as test isolation, test parallelization, and all the features of whatever that we have discussed, the test parallel execution, and then all of this testing in the multiple browsers. So that is possible in the free version also, and there might be a paid version or paid support for these features also. So that makes it makes this Playwright as an full packed package for any software tester that you can think about. So that's why we are bringing this new playlist on this Playwright automation testing tool, so that you can also know about what is going on in the latest technology features. And that's the motto of Video Geeks YouTube channel. So let's get to hands on the installation part of the Playwright. So now we are moving our discussion to the Visual Studio Code. So we have opened this folder called Playwright YouTube Learning. You can make any folder and you can open that folder in the Visual Studio Code. Now for the prerequisite, you just need to have an npm or the node already installed, and there are certain prerequisites or the certain versions that you might need to install. So by the way, for following the entire process, we have this documentation from the docs and the getting started and the installation part, so you can view all of the information about how to install this doc. But if you don't want to watch this documentation and something like that, so we are making the video, you can just follow along with me. So for the system requirement, you just need any Node.js version, which is mentioned over here, either 20.x, 22.x or 24.x. So if you have already Node installed, you can use node-v command. So you can see we have 22.16.0. so we have 22.x. so that is we have everything that we need to go with the Playwright installation. Now we can use this clear command, and now if you want to install the Playwright, we can use the command that is already given over here, that is npm install playwright @latest. So we can copy from there, we can paste, and we can let this bundle all the everything things that is required for the Playwright. So it will say that we are creating with this version of Playwright. If you want to proceed, we can enter y over here, and there are a couple of things that it will ask. So based on your preference, you can choose to go with either TypeScript or JavaScript. I suggest you should go with the TypeScript because that is the most compatible with the Playwright. So we will go with the TypeScript, and it is asking that where we should put our Now it is asking us to where we should put the end-to-end test. So we can leave it as blank, and all the tests will be put inside the test folder, and that is by default configuration. So I'll choose to go with that. If you have anything else in your mind to name your end-to-end test folder, you can give it over here. Now add GitHub actions. So this is very cool feature of Playwright. So where in the Cypress we had to write our own CI file, or the GitHub actions files, but over here it will already be created for us. So whenever we push to our main branch or make a pull request to our main branch in the particular GitHub repository, it will automatically create the GitHub repository. So that will trigger the CI pipeline, and CI pipeline will execute all the tests that are there in your test folder. So that's very cool. And you can choose whether you want the GitHub action workflow. If you don't want, you can have no, but for me it is very cool, so I will choose to go with that. And install Playwright browsers can be done via npx playwright install. So it will install all the browsers that are supported by the Playwright, so we can obviously let it true. And now this is the file, package.json file, that will be generated, and Playwright will be installed as in dev dependency. So all the installation process will begin, and I think it's about to be completed. So we'll wait for it to be completed. So alright, we have configured this Playwright successfully, and based on the internet connection that you might have, it will take a variable amount of time to get things done. And as you can see, it has given us the commands that we can directly use to write or test the example spec that it has prepared for us. So if you can go through all the files that it has created, so we will have this test folder, and if you have given a different name, you will have a folder with a different name over here, and it will have been created, it will have created this example.spec.ts file, and as you can see, it describes this test. And now we can have a look at over here in the playwright.config.ts file. It will have a configuration regarding the project that we have. So this is a very important file. We will be using or explaining about more of this file in the detail in the next videos. It will have so many things by default already that we might need to set up or by manually. So for an example, you can consider this thing that is nothing but the environment variable from the file, that you can directly see that the code snippet is already given. You just need to uncomment and have a file with the name.env over here. And also we have something called base URL that we can directly use. We have something called mobile viewports that if we want to perform a test on. We have also something called installation or pre-test task, so that we can we will see this file in the future. This is the example spec file, and if you want to run this file, we can open the terminal, and we can first of all clear this. Now npx playwright test. So this is a command that we can use to perform the test that for all the files that are being written over here in the test folder. So once we click on this file, all the tests will be performed. So as you can see, all the tests are passed. Now you might wonder that we only have these 2 tests written over here, but why it says 6 tests are being executed? That is because we have something called this described over here as in project. So inside project we have something called 3 browsers, something called Chromium, Firefox and WebKit. So all of the tests, all of these 2 tests are being performed simultaneously or parallelly in these 3 browsers that we have defined over here. That's why when we execute these 2 tests, it will say 6 tests, because it will be performed on these 3 browsers that we have described in the project over here. So that's how basic working of Playwright is involved. And you might also note this Playwright report folder. So it is nothing but the HTML file that carries all the reports. It will also have something called last run.json file that is inside this test result folder. Now for the HTML file, if you want to see how it looks, we can host it like this: npx playwright. So we can write command like npx playwright show report, that will host a static website for the last test result that we have inside this index.html file. So as you can see, all of the tests that are described over here, which is something called hash title and get started link, so that you can see that is being executed in the Chromium, Firefox and WebKit browser. All of the tests are passed. We can also see the detail view over here, and as you can see, we have these three browsers described over here, which is something called Chromium, Firefox and WebKit, right? So that's how we can see the results that are there in the Playwright index.html file. That is nothing but the report that is generated from the test that we have executed from the last. So that is the basic introduction part for how we can install and how to get started with the Playwright. If you are a beginner and if you want to get started with the installation of Playwright, I might suggest you to watch this video, which is over here. As you can see this link, so from the getting started VS Code, you can find this video. This is very helpful video if you want to get started with the Playwright. So I think that's it for the basic introduction part of the Playwright. We have seen that how we can install and what are the commands to get started with the Playwright. In the upcoming videos, we will see how to assert an element and something more interesting related to Playwright. So that's it for today's video. We'll meet in the next one. Till then, keep learning and keep exploring.